To now talk about the announcement you've made today about care homes, and you've made a pledge that everybody who needs a test who is vulnerable and in a care home will get a COVID-19 test. When will they be able to get that test?
Immediately. So the capacity
There's enough capacity now for everybody in the social care system who needs a test to get one.
For everybody in the social care system who needs a test to be able to get one. So
okay, that's great.
And that's April the 15th, 2020. This is yesterday.
Sending people back to care homes untested did happen during April. And is that your biggest regret in this pandemic?
Well, the thing is, Beth, on that, I mean, I've answered this question many, many times. On that, because we didn't have the testing capacity at the start of the pandemic, it wasn't possible. And what I am very proud of is that we built that testing capacity, but it took time, right? And it took me setting this target, which people didn't think I was going to meet. And because of the team effort, we did meet that target. And then we had the testing available to be able to put the policy in place.
So I honestly don't know. I don't think that's necessarily a hand grenade. It might be. You've heard what I've heard. He could claim, well, April the 15th is very different from April the 17th, James, or April the 8th, Beth. His face when Beth Rigby wasn't muted during that. If you want to hear righteous indignation about how the government is currently treating journalists, then do not miss Eddie Mair at the moment. And the man is absolutely on a mission to point out how ridiculous it is for this government to continue to evade scrutiny and proper questioning. And Beth Rigby snuck under the wire yesterday. Hancock's face when she wasn't muted was something of a picture. So I don't know what the wriggle room looks like here. On the 15th of April 2020, he said everyone who needs a test can get one. Yesterday, he said that in April of 2020, that wasn't the case. The number of patients that were moved from hospital to care homes without being tested is estimated to be in the region of 35,000. Listen, I've done that from memory because I've been reading up on this all morning. And even as I say that number out loud, I wonder whether I've slightly misremembered. But certainly thousands of people were discharged from hospital without being tested. There'll be no way of ever knowing how many of them actually brought COVID-19 back into care homes. Look, I think this is, in normal times, Armageddon, or Armageddon, if you prefer. Here is a chap called David Crabtree, who manages 2 care homes in Bingley, West Yorkshire. He said to the Daily Telegraph last night, without a shadow of a doubt, coronavirus was contracted in hospital, leading to some residents dying. I think the number I was looking for was 36,275 deaths involving coronavirus in care homes since the pandemic began, not the movement of patients from hospitals into care homes. I'll say that number again because I have to. It's my job. 36,275 deaths involving coronavirus in care homes since the pandemic began. And then one remembers that remarkable piece, and I don't know why it happens. We're only human, aren't we? Everything sort of gets muddled in our minds. Our memories sometimes get confused. We get bits mixed up. But that piece about the military campaign, which saw plague-ridden corpses being catapulted over the ramparts of an enemy castle in the hope of infecting everybody inside, and one of the few advantages of having such a rabidly sycophantic right-wing media is that if it appears in there, then it almost assumes a bigger weight than it would if it appeared in more honest organs and more honest outlets. So a doctor, I think, wrote for the Telegraph and drew that parallel. Obviously, patients were still alive, but they were infected with this latter-day plague and they were transported into care homes in their thousands. So then we go back to April the 12th of last year, after emerging from hospital, one of the first things that Boris Johnson asked, according to Dominic Cummings, was, what on earth has happened with all these people in care homes? Hancock told us in the cabinet room that people were going back to be tested before they went back to care homes. What the hell happened? So you can join me today in a little bit of detective work. I've played you 3 clips, all of which are pertinent, 2 of which seem to be in direct contradiction. Dominic Cummings insists that Matt Hancock lied, that he told the Prime Minister that people were being tested before being sent back to care homes. You can answer that. You can even put dates on it. I don't want you to necessarily rake over too much trauma. But if you can help us, either because it happened in your family or it happened in your care home, where you work or where you live or where you visit, then you can help us with this. I don't think anybody believes that it didn't happen.